Hey kids, it's me again. Patrick, remember me? Tall guy, kind of goofy from Texas. I'm back. Hard as it might be to believe, I'm back. I know it's been a minute, and I had another video that I was getting all ready to record and put up, and then this happened. That's right. You're reading that correctly. It is a new core book for Star Trek Adventures, the Klingon Empire Core Rulebook, to be exact. What does that mean for the likes of you and me? Actually, should be a lot of fun. I'll get into more of a detailed breakdown review of it later on, but today I wanted to do something short, sweet, kind of fun. Guys, let's build a house. And I don't just mean any house. Let's build a great house of the Klingon Empire. Okay, so here is the PDF. They just released this a couple of weeks ago on the 6th of July. I'll have links in the description, but the physical book itself won't be out until October or November, depending on how the world situation goes. But if you pre-order it, or you go to DriveThru and just buy the PDF, you get it now. And it's a preview PDF. They're going to be putting in another 16 pages of art and text. But this is the cover. And we are just going to go, if I can type, here we are. Now the page numbers are going to change. It's going to load smoother. It's a preview PDF. It's not optimized. Like I said, they're still working on putting some previously cut content back into it, some art that was removed. So if there's anything to thank COVID for, it's this. But there are rules in the book to let you create your own great house, which is helpful in character development. Creating your house replaces a couple of steps early on in the life path. Specifically, you're going to replace environment and caste, which is the Klingon version of upbringing, with values from the house. It's a very quick process. It's pretty easy. So since my campaign features the Klingons a lot, I thought I would create a house that I have a need for in my campaign. So we are going to create the House of Sorval. And it starts like this. The first thing you gotta do is find the status of your house. Now, in my game, Sorval branched off from his old house and went off on his own about 50, 60 years ago, which may seem like a long time to you and I, but in terms of the Empire, it's not that long. These are your various statuses, and I am going to say that House Sorval is new and rising. Now what that does is characters from this house will gain +1 fitness, and +1 reason. And there are some sample values. So we're just going to record this in a Word file. I don't have anything fancy. The House of Sorval. In my game, Sorval is the scientific advisor to Chancellor Azet Boer. It takes place in 2295, right after Star Trek VI. New and rising. +1 fitness and +1 reason. And we will save that and we'll format that so we know what we're doing there. Boom. Save it again because I don't know about you, but I've lost more than one important thing because I was dumb. Okay, back to the PDF. Next thing, the house legacy. What is the house known for? And again, you can randomize it or you can just choose. Sorval, as I said, is the scientific advisor to Chancellor Azet Boer. So I'm going to say, since he founded the house, it's going to be known mostly for scientists. Now, this is not the only type of career that will come out of this house. For instance, Sorval's grandson, a member of the House of Sorval, is a hockey player. Or he was, before he got killed in a duel. But that's a different story altogether. Anyway, the house legacy is scientists. So house legacy, scientists. Now what that does is it determines a discipline. Tremendous shock, right? Here's another tremendous shock. The discipline that it gives you is a +1 boost to science. Who saw that coming, right? Format this, try to make it a little bit prettier, even though it's just a boring document right now. I'll probably do a pretty handout for work at my table if we ever, game at a table again. Alright, next up, another thing that the legacy gives you is you get the discipline. There's some sample focuses, just like you'd get in upbringing and environment in regular character generation, but you get a couple of house only talents. Scientists get these two: a tradition of discovery or taught by pain. And you see both these are actually pretty cool. What comes next is the temperament. What is the general attitude of people from this house? Again, not everybody is going to be like this, but a lot of them are. So, House Sorval, I could roll it, but I know that the character is thoughtful and introspective, and the leader of the house has a tendency to kind of pass that on. One of the things that the houses do is they, kind of pass along their values and their way of doing things. Like I said, Not all of them will come out to be scientists with a thoughtful and introspective nature, but that's generally how the house is perceived. In Klingon, that term is bush. And since it's a Klingon book, they thoughtfully provided a lot of things. In Klingon, again, you get attributes. This one will give you +1 to each of control and reason. Between the status and the temperament, you get all 4 of the attribute boosts that you would normally get in the 2 stages of character creation, of environment and cast. Whereas when you're just going free form with environment and cast, you kind of have a little more of a choice. You get to choose, you know, a +1 to 1 of 3 in environment, and in cast you can either accept or reject it, and you normally get a +2 to one and a +1 to another. You have a little less choice with the house, but not by much. So that's part of the give and take there. But in general, it's probably worth it. But because instead, you get a free choice of discipline when you are using the house to determine those 2 parts of your character generation. Whereas with the cast, you would have a set choice depending on whether you accepted or rejected your specific cast. So let's write this down while we're thinking about it. House disposition. And Word is probably going to throw up when I do this. Boosh! Yep, it doesn't like that. What a shock. Thoughtful and introspective. Close. +1 control and +1 reason, +1 to discipline of your choice. Boom, boom. Now, houses, like characters, do have a few attributes, but it's not very many, really. Klingon marriage. I love you and I'm going to slit your throat. So, there are 3 attributes that a house is going to have: influence, might, and wealth. They all start at 6, and then you have 6 points to split between them to get your final numbers. House of Sorval, right now they've got the Chancellor's ear, so their influence, when all is said and done, comes out to a 9. They are not what you'd call a military power, however. So their might is only a 7. They have got some degree of wealth. Their wealth comes out at an 8. The house's reputation will generally, if you're creating it as part of your character, you'll have the same reputation your character has unless noted otherwise. The new reputation and system in the Klingon book runs from 1 to 5, 0 to 5. And the default start is 3. So the house's reputation is going to be a 3. So let's get all this written down. Influence. Hard to believe I'm a professional and I know how to type, but what can I say? Might 7. Wealth 8. Reputation 3. Right now in the campaign, there's not any player characters in the House of Sorval. Leadership falls to an NPC. Sorval, the son of Antok. So, leader. Sorval, son of Antok. And that, boys and girls, is it. I don't know if I had that up while I was typing those in, but there's our last few stats. I've had some software upgrades for recording. I'm still getting used to some of it, so please bear with me. Please. But that's it, guys. That is the House of Sorval. See how easy that was? You can do this too at home. All you've got to do is get the Klingon Empire Core Rulebook. PDF is available now. The book is up for pre-order. Hope you enjoyed this. Give it a like, give me a subscribe, hit the bell if you want some notifications. Leave me comments and tell your friends, and we'll get back to this next time. I think I'll actually generate Sorval's stats so that we can kind of see the house in action going into character generation. Until next time, guys. Qapla'!